Okay, hello. I'm gonna pull up transits and some things we didn't look at yesterday. So I'm gonna get that ready. Good morning. Good morning. I'm on here a little bit earlier than normal. I have sessions today, but I wanted to come on here and do Donald Trump's transits for April. Okay. And then I'll post them on Patreon so anybody who misses it can check it out. Where was the other? Oh, here it is. Oh, yeah, I wanted to look at Alexander Costa. Okay. And then there was like that George Mitchell we were looking at yesterday. Okay. So I've got a list of people too, but depending on how much I get done today. Good morning. Good morning. All right. We're going to see what he is up to today and for the next month. Since the transits, we've been doing this since like last year. And we read through his transits and then we see like his responses to the energy, and he is not responding well. Like he is being very violent. So when we're looking at this next month, make sure we're taking this into account with what he may create. Also, what's already aspected, we need to look at his aspects a little bit deeper, I think, when we're checking the transit chart. So anyways, there was something I did want to talk about before I got into this, and it was about what evil really is. And it's like nobody really talks about, people will say it's money or whatever, but it's really movement of a consciousness without consideration of what's around you. And so it's like a constant movement towards something in the outer that isn't real without consideration. And so then it's destruction. And so it's like this chasing a carrot, but it doesn't exist. And you're hurting and it's like total destruction to get to this thing. And so lack of consideration, mainly right now, the pain we're going through is the lack of consideration with women. Things have been taken away. And we're seeing this in every sector. So lack of consideration of the mother. And that's why I call them motherless gods. And when you do that, it does bite you in the ass. So, and that's why I'm not worried too, because you can't create properly like that. It doesn't work. Okay, let's go. April 1st. All right, here's Donald Trump. Transits for April 1st of this year. So we have the lunar nodes hanging out in first house, seventh house. This is pulling away. Remember, this teeter-totters. So his true node, what he wants for everybody and his reach outward, that's what we see when he comes out and speaks to us. And then it goes back and we see it being pulled away from, he is like so blind to this, what people are thinking of him and pulling away from his identity and where he is. So the delusion here is within the heart with him. So And every time it goes back, he like fights it. He fights this. Okay, we have the moon reflections here are hanging out on the cusp of the first, the identity, and then what's around us, our materials, our resources. And so once this starts to move over here, well, it's going to move through. It moves really fast, but right here it's going to be in Virgo. So he's seeing reflections of his health right now. Probably not sharing it, I would say. Okay, and with the moon, remember we have to look at where this is. Oh wait, I didn't do it for the nodes. Okay, so with the nodes, you're going to want to look at the aspect of how this would affect his identity and his reach outward. And so it will affect his real estate, his foundation, his family's truth, his tribe, and his job. So these nodes transit will in turn affect this, okay? And we're seeing that right now. It's like slow and it goes back and forth. It's okay. And then the moon with the reflections on his health going on right now. It's going to be affecting his family. It's going to be affecting the foundation too. So they're probably all okay, so let's move over to this transit over here. Pluto going through the 6th house, also with illness. What's it going to affect? Oh, the wound he's caused for women here, this hidden wound. This Pluto is like the Epstein files, this little area here. When we look at after, it's going to affect, oh, look, his money, mind, and how he shines. Yeah. Okay. Up here, let's look at his mind. Oh God, the ego basically for him. And so transit Mercury, sorry. Where's his Mercury? It's over here. Speaking to the collective. Yeah, he likes to do that. Just reach outward. This is just him on Truth Social to me. Like, and then when he comes to speak, like, he doesn't know how to navigate waters with his mind. That's why it turns into word salad. Navigating the waters is being able to navigate the Bina, which is the feminine, which is water and spirit. And he is not able to navigate well in it. Then that's why he speaks like that. It's like he... Okay. Mars... he is our little secret enemy here. That's what this Mars doing, hanging out in the 12th house. And then the reach outward. And this is why we're getting violence here, because he's truly a violent leader. And we'll see what happens when Mars enters this 8th house, because it's going to change. It's going to light up other people's money. Like, what have you done with other people's money? Like, we're going to watch this move over as we move through this month. Okay. So I'm just touching base on the beginning of the month here, and we're going to move. Saturn lessons, processing, going through the 8th house. He is failing all of this because he is using our money and burning it up like a blowtorch, right? We got the sun over here transiting the 8th house with his sun in the 10th house. He really thinks he's a businessman. Those 10th house suns usually are CEOs, but he became more of an underground CEO, only showing half of his with The Apprentice. That's like the art of the deal type of energy is one side of the twin that is acceptable for the community, but the other side of the twin, which is the one that rapes and murders and secretly has people killed and takes everybody's money is the other twin. So, and you'll be able to tell that people with Chiron and Gemini, and I've talked about this before, they can't tell that. They can't even see it. They can only see the one twin until they have that key opening and they can see both sides. So, we got Venus here. This is what's going to be deadly for him. Oh, and it is school. It's like was just square. Excuse me. Transit Venus was square. His Venus in the 11th house. Okay. So this is like the victims coming out and talking, and this is what he's done in the community to women. Okay. All right. Let's start moving through this month. Oh, I better change it to transit so I don't have to do that every time. Okay, see how it's going to stay quite similar. The faster planets are going to move a little bit faster, and the slower ones are going to move slower. As this moon moves from here to here, we're going to start seeing more reflections here of... I wouldn't be surprised if he brings up like Ukraine coming up and the Russia stuff around this time here because of Libra and the kidney. And this reflects how he thinks he's like that Prince of Peace or that healer. Do you see what I'm saying? So he like comes out and he's like, I saved the war. So it's going back into that more acceptable Gemini twin here. Okay. So we may see that coming up in the future, him bringing up this shit again. Okay, this moved a little bit. I want to see what day this is going to be moving into the 8th house. And we're going to talk about Mars transiting 8th house. I'll read that out of the Robert Handbook. Okay, let's keep moving. Oh, I forgot to do that. It's okay. I'll do the next one. Okay, still moving through here. Okay, where we're gonna, April 4th, we're gonna see reflections of what he's done. There may be more coming out here. Scorpio. Now, with planets transiting Scorpio, sometimes I look at Mars and Pluto because what rules the 8th house is Mars. It's changed throughout history of what rules what, but we would want to check mainly Mars here and how that's going to affect, see how it fights his reach outward, this reflection of the moon. Okay. The moon's important. You guys should really map your reflections through each sign when the moon moves through each sign, and you write the experiences that you have for each sign and how it affects your natal moon. Yeah, that would give you some empowerment there. Okay. It's like he's not going to get away from this, which is funny to me. So we're just watching, the Epstein victims move around his chart here, looking for their accountability, and they're not going to leave him alone. Okay, this is April 6th. Ooh. He absolutely could have Eugene because in between February and March, which we're in like right now, there was a possibility for him. Yeah, Uranus and Moon. That's why I'm like, we need to look at this real quick. So Uranus and the Moon, this type of transit was also like the Deepak Chopra. Few hours, to do something that you wouldn't normally do. So that's like the type of transit we're going to be seeing here with this moon in opposition, transit moon in opposition of transit Uranus. It might be good for us, might be, or really bad, or it's going to show himself. It's like sexual abusers, just like criminals, they have a pattern, and if they don't like satisfy it, it gets bigger, it like grows and grows. And so that makes me very nervous. That's like that would be a big act against women, don't you think? Especially since he's so against women, and that's why it makes me nervous. Okay, moon opposition. Now this is usually an opposition of your natal, and it is actually really close to his it's within like 17 degrees, 20 degrees, and Uranus is a big planet, and in the outer, it doesn't need it. It touches itself, like it's big enough to influence itself like that. So a big change in career, like, because this is over his house, 10th house. So see how this can go either way. Okay. You will have to be quite careful for a while because you are emotionally excitable and impulsive at this time. You may leap to unwarranted conclusions, especially about matters involving your emotional life. So you should avoid making any decisive moves at this time. Oh God, this is going to be bad then. This is going to be bad. Shit. In your contacts with others, you will seek excitement and stimulation, and thus you may attract people who are quite different from your usual crowd. You may even be quite upset by these new people. But you should realize that they are filled with real need in your life now, or you may act disruptively in your current relationships. It is not exactly that you are trying to start a fight, but in talking with someone, you may stir up feelings that cause a fight to begin unintentionally. Consequently, this can be a stormy period in relationships. It is also possible that you'll have some sort of emotional surprise. For example, you may receive news that upsets you, or you may just feel very edgy and upset for no particular reason for several hours. Okay, this is April 6th, guys. If anyone tries to restrict you, your reaction will be very negative. Even if the restrictions are in your best interest, your immediate response to any restriction is to break away and rebel. If someone asserts a point of view strongly, you may disagree out of pure contrariness. Obviously, some caution is necessary because you may react simply for the sake of reacting and thereby do yourself a disservice. Fuck. And it's going to come at women. This is, unfortunately. Okay. Let's keep moving. All right. And like as we were feeling that out, I started to feel pretty upset and I felt like I couldn't talk. Oh, God. Okay. We're getting also these moving towards an opposition of the Chiron key here and what's going on in his resource and his money house that he never really fixed. This is basically a bankruptcy. This shows us what bankruptcy looks like. It's famous. It's infamous. So we're going to have a light shining here. When we look at transits, remember we got to look at both sides here, and it shines a light through into the here. So we may get to know more of the poor spending that he is doing, or bringing us into bankruptcy here. Yeah, financial scandals, whatever they're doing, maybe get a blip of it at this point. Okay. I feel like this is when he would normally golf, but he's not golfing anymore. Mercury hit that eclipse degree on Monday, and it'll hit again on April 3rd. Okay. This is where things are going to start getting interestingly worse or better, okay? With Mars entering into this 8th house. It's starting April 10th. Okay. So let's talk about that. This is the book I read from to keep it PG. Mars, 8th house. So this is an overall what happens, like a theme in your life when Mars transits your 8th house. And this happens every year, right? Yeah, because it's 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. Every 3 houses is 6 months for Mars. Okay. The effect is 15 degrees Pisces, a death degree. It's a 15 degrees Pisces. Pisces usually have problems with like drowning themselves, either in alcohol or actual drowning, or, but I can check that in a minute. I have to go get my other book that I've been reading. So it literally amazes me how spot on my chart has been lately. I wish I had learned this earlier. You learned it exactly when you needed to. I feel like if I learned it before I did, I would have been a fucking crazy person. I would have made it. I needed to see the stage. I had to see my theater show of a life, and then first. Okay, so Mars in the 8th. The effects of Mars transit through this house can be either very subtle or very blatant. It is hard to tell in advance which it will be. Basically, your ego drives will create a confrontation with something, which will force a transformation of some kind in your life. For example, you may encounter someone who has a powerful effect upon you and causes you change. Putin? His boyfriend? You be my boyfriend. Okay, this may happen through a conflict with this person, or he or she may gain influence over you and thereby affect you strongly, because the 8th house is the house of values that you share with others. There may be a conflict concerning values or objects that are valued, such as property and possessions. This, sorry, that made me start to like feel some things. It's like, what possessions, and like, what does he see as possessions? He clearly sees women as objects. So, and money, and so this is concerning. The conflict might force you to re-examine and modify your position. In a marriage or partnership relationship, the two of you may disagree strongly on the management of jointly held resources. How to spend a limited amount of money, for example. It is also quite likely that the two of you will use your joint resources, particularly money, rather foolishly and wastefully. Be careful of this, because it can lead to conflict at this time. Oh, this is where he's going to do something bad then, I think. He's going to use the money wrong. Okay. This transit stimulates... Ew. I don't think about that. Which for the most people, much more than they are willing to admit. You are more likely now to seek through relationships and an intense and transforming quality that will take you out of an ordinary into a transcendent realm. That's really concerning for somebody who has the habits that he has in that sacral energy. Just keep in mind that this is a rather large demand to place upon the frail human relationship. The sum total of all your experiences at this time will lead in either great or small ways to transforming the ways in which you assert yourself in the world, both literally and figuratively. There will be a death of an older order and the birth of a new one. When I was reading that, I did, it does seem like I saw a flash of the story of Al Capone when that other mob boss died and he took over. Who's really taking over this business? In the past, Al Capone secretively took it over. He made other people feel like, no, I didn't. Remember the guy who died in the barbershop and then he kind of like took over the gang? It's making me feel like that. I think Jared, yeah. And what does he represent to his wife? He represents Donald Trump to her because this is the wound of the pedophilia. He is also he's a part of it. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going. So this is going to start on April 10th. I don't know if he's going to be able to hold himself from doing his bad habits. This will either be manifested through frivolous spending, so using the money, or using women, children, etc. Okay. Yes, we fast when we look at this shit. We can't. That's why my stomach goes crazy. Okay. So when we were talking about that possible stroke, it was when Chiron key was going through here and it was in opposition of this Chiron key in Libra. So that was when the other possibility of the stroke was. Chiron and Chiron opposition. Okay. Just because it can affect it with that medical degree. So... Oh, we're going to have a reflection of his doings. It'd probably be fake. Or something to do with his health. This is concerning with Mars then getting right on top of, look at this. Okay, here's Mercury. That's Saturn, but Mars and Neptune are having a conjunction. And Pluto, yeah, Pluto's in the 6th, yeah. As soon as that started, once it hit here, that's when everybody started talking about his health, which makes complete sense. So, yeah. He's not happy in his relationship too. I don't know if you guys can see that, but he is not happy with Melania. You can tell he feels more connection with Susie Wiles than he does with his own wife. Because it's like Susie Wiles is the real reflection of the woman within him. He wants it to be Melania, but it's not. I don't even think he knows what love is. What he's doing isn't love. So whatever he's doing to himself, I hope he keeps doing that. It is, isn't it, Linda? Yeah. Reflections don't lie. Is Mars at a quincunx with natal Mars? You make me do math here. 100. Yeah, I think you're right. 150 degrees, yeah. Right? 180. Yeah, I would say so. That is Mars quincunx Mars. And so this is a bender break. So that's a good catch. That is a very good catch. There's like a mismatch with quincunxes, and the mismatch here with Mars is his, warmongering within, and the expression of it coming outward and using our resources for it. So with this disconnection, this could also lead to Congress stopping this. This is where the challenge of trying to harmonize these energies, it requires like conscious effort, and you have to be flexible, and we know he's not. And you have to be willing to engage with this, and he doesn't think he has to engage with the outer transit. He only thinks of this one. So this will be very challenging for him. I think that it may shut down this whole conflict he's starting, or trying to finish, like he says. It's like, bitch, we're not in that story anymore. But okay. And you know what? I would even wonder, with Melania having her Gemini placements being torn between two lovers, that kind of thing. Who is the other lover for Melania? Who is the unseen person that we're not seeing that she also was in love with or has a relationship with? They all have this. And then it makes me think, Putin, like we all would think, right? We would think Putin, right? And then would that show the unseen desire of Donald Trump to be gay with Putin? Yeah, it absolutely would. And you start to see like all the strings of the desires, the inner desires that haven't been expressed, that materialize as attachments. And I knew you guys would enjoy that. No, I think he's simping on Putin for sure, like because of the way he took power of a large country. It's really an attraction to power, because the most feminine women within think power is safety. All right, let's keep going. April 15th. I've got the magic in me. Every time I touch this chart, it turns into gold. That's how you attract. And that's why I will sing the songs that are popular in the TikTok right now, because that also is a way to bring attraction to you. Okay, anyways. Thanks, Jency. Okay. Now, this is like the call for him to look at the Israel president. He said he was spotted going in the side door of the Kremlin. Oh my God. This is the call to heal our shining, to heal the sun here, going through the 8th house, that darkness. It's showing us what we need to heal in order to shine, what needs to be fought off. And so he's going to take this in the way of, I'm the only dictator. That's why he's going after all of these dictators and doing what he's doing. I'm the best one. It's so easy to see the ego in here. Can you tell by BB's chart if the allegations of him being dead are true? It's like he wants us to believe that. Yes, I'm king of the castle. He definitely, that's what that is. I have to be the only one. I will start the war, it's so confusing. And it is all smoke and mirrors, and especially with Israel because of how it was formed. It's like this floating country, right? It's a consciousness that floats and thinks it's more superior than everyone else. And when we're looking, we have to be very careful when we're looking at Israel, because they don't think that. Now, he knows his popularity is diminishing throughout the world. So would he want to think that he's not here? Yes. So this is why I haven't really talked about this yet, because I'm not sure. I don't know. I can't tell if he is or isn't. And it's hard when people don't have their soul embodied. I think it makes it like they are invisible, Yes, we can see right through him. That's funny you say that. So let's just wait, and he does have a danger of that too in his chart, of this happening out of the blue, of it possibly happening like that. But then a part of me feels like he knew that. So maybe be working to assist himself in that not happening. Okay, we're going to April 16th. So we can look at BB later, but I just want to get through April for Donald Trump first. Oh, God. Is this what all the astrologers are talking about? Probably. Shit. Okay. This is going to take a little bit to decipher. Sometimes we have to sit in a tarot spread. Sometimes we have to sit in transits and see what this really feels like here. Yeah, it feels like a big fucking mess of everybody using their blowtorches in the wrong way. If people are not awakened, they're going to fight. It's going to be violent. We're also having, look at this, his Neptune, his subconscious, his desire to heal, his desire to expand. This is the insatiable money thing that causes the bankruptcy. Okay. So see how this can work for us. It is this fight, this clusterfuck here is going to be an opposition of this bankruptcy shit too. So yes, we could be burning it all down, and that in turn burns his shit down. This could be heightened to the point where it just takes away all of our resources because he's in control. That's the only reason he has as much power than any other chart I look at. A lot of his stuff is going to be, we're going to see in the macro world because of the power he is wielding right now. So that's not going to be a good look for him. I would assume that he's not going to like this. Okay. And we still have Jupiter hanging out over here, what he really did to women and the accountability. And Mama Jupiter here is holding down the fort with this. You can't get away from this. We will be able to see it. It will be expanded for the world. We know who you are. Okay. Let's move forward. For numbers 2, infamous days, like even if you're born on day 5 or day 17 or day 29, sometimes it's infamy and sometimes it's not. So on these days that we come up to during our month, sometimes this is when bad things happen to, or just change happens, or something famous happens. So keep notice of those days 2, 5, 17, and 29. 28 is also can be a name of something, everybody calls it something. I'm very curious of what New Mexico is going to uncover with the ranch. Mars is opposing his Neptune that day. Ooh, yay. So it will be opposing his vision for our resources and what he thinks is going to be balanced. Yeah. So this is when you're in extended chart selection. Start date is here, and you have to put the chart type is natal chart with transits, and then you pick the date you want your transit. Yes. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Yeah, he can't get away from it. This was his best chance to get away from it, was getting into the presidency. That's why he did it. And it was like such perfect timing for him because they didn't have enough time to build up the case. So it's still there, Oh, you're so welcome, Betty. No worries. I'm pretty patient with, I think I am. Sorry, just like to look at it a little bit more. What would it look like with all of this in one place too? Let's take a minute to talk about this, because I don't know if this is when this has even happened in history, or if it's happened in history. And this is not just like his chart, just this transit here with everything in Aries like this. Remember, when we're talking about Aries, this is an emergence. This is the baby where like the mother's screaming and the baby head is coming out. Like this is, and the mother, the energy, the adrenaline, the ambition, and the love. It's intense. So just with Mercury sitting there in Aries, let's feel that out for a second. With Mercury in Aries, you're going to feel impulsive. You're just going to want to do it. You're going to get an idea and you're going to run with it with enthusiasm. Sometimes it's hard to ground that idea and concentrate on it long enough to create it. And that's where they can run into trouble with Mercury and Aries. So the reaction, there's a spotlight on the reaction. They're witty, they're inventive, they're like a quick trigger of a mind. They can be really quick-tempered and just like, this is like that moment where you just get the idea to punch somebody in the face, No offense, Aries. It's impatient. It doesn't give a fuck, It's doesn't want any delays. It doesn't want anybody opposing it. So, and planets like in Taurus, like this will stabilize it. The moon, Venus will stabilize it being in Taurus, depending. Pisces sometimes stables it too, but he's not latching on to this, not where the collective's really going. He's going against flow. So how grounded is this anger going to be in his chart? It's not. This is going to affect his inner body. So I would say his mind, his action, his visions. Frivolous. He's just going to spend, and he's not going to think enough about it, and it will cause a problem in the future, because the Saturn here is watching his every move. Let's talk a little bit more with Saturn being in Aries. When Saturn's just in the first house with Aries in effect of it, we've talked about how even the birth is a difficult one with the Saturn so close to the ascendant and the rising. It's difficult for the mother. It's difficult for the child. The child is like given maturity too fast. Like they're born like an old soul, but then they have like this young attitude too. So when Saturn is in Aries, let's heighten this up a little bit. What would be the lesson? What would be it? The Aries has that me first attitude. It doesn't seem to know how to be considerate of what it's in front of. Okay. This is a test of self-centeredness, and allowing spontaneous flow of life forces, because with Saturn and Aries, there is a lack. Something's being inhibited. Something's being confined. And people, even who have Saturn and Aries natally, they are suspicious. They're distrustful a little bit. People with Saturn and Aries will suffer if anybody has authority over them. They just feel like they won't be able to release. It will feel frustrating. Sometimes, you're easily held back by fears because what you think of outwardly is what you think is going to happen inwardly. So you have like a subconscious fear or a sense of a great conflict all the time. So if this was like a daughter, or if, like, there's a father complex with Saturn and Aries too. But also there's good to this, like there's great reasoning power too. But also there's good to this, like there's great reasoning power. It needs physical activity. So all of us are going to want to move. Like we're all going to be moving with Saturn going into Aries like this. Watch your kidneys too, and drink plenty of water with Saturn and Aries. It dries up real fast. Okay. Mars and Aries, we know that. We know what that is. That's basically just like, it feels like Andrew Tate, like to me at least. But in its worst form, in this best form, Mars and Aries, acts positively from within what it's learned, and then it puts it outward. It's independent too. So we're going to see a huge increase in the just in the collective of physical and mental activities. So it's just going to get heightened to the max. This is going to give us ambition to actually do something. This is going to give us the courage we need. It's going to make us make those give those impulsive messages, give those the impulsivity of the heart of what we've learned, what we've birthed. This, say, in a Christian world, if we've birthed a Christ, meaning we've birthed a new consciousness, it's the action from that new consciousness will have ambition. So, and it will have strength of character. So if there's afflictions in your chart with Mars, I would make sure you don't cause any triggers within yourself, to not cause a temper tantrum, so to speak, or too much irritability or restlessness. But, with all of these planets sitting in there, we've got something in store for us. And I'm going to hope for the best. With Neptune and Aries, now we're going to take the dream of the first war. What was the very first war? Why do we keep creating a war dream? So in dismantling that constant pattern of someone taking, and then that other person taking, and that other person taking, causing pain, and that other person taking and causing pain. No, and so we're going to have a big evaluation of this. And with it being in opposition to, it's going to be a reevaluation of the dream that he has in store for us. Okay. Let's keep moving. I just wanted to touch base on that because that's pretty wild, having everything in Aries, and then the Sun and Chiron key is there too. So you guys, you're gonna get running. We're gonna be like, ah. Okay, April 19th. All right. Ooh, Venus on the midheaven. Okay, we need to look at that. I want to look at that transit. This is a good one. But this is going to be about love, and we know what his love is. So this will be a very positive reading from this. But not everybody's Venus is balanced. And so think of how he loves and how he receives love. That's his Venus energy. So, all right, let's see what this is going to produce here. Matters of love and affection are uppermost in your mind today. You are conscious of your loved ones and your feelings for them. If other testimonies agree, you might fall in love with someone new. Oh my God. In any case, you are more concerned with love and your relationships than your own ego. That's very hopeful, Robert, for this particular case. No, one manifestation of this transit is a pleasant daydreamy mood in which you are not disposed to work other than creative activity. So what would be his creative activity? If you are in a Venus-ruled profession, such as the entertainment industry, art, relationship, counseling, crafts, or even agriculture to a certain degree, this transit is favorable. In other professions, you will be able to create relationships conducive to business negotiations. This is a good time for any kind of social activity. You feel warm and friendly to everyone and are really in a good mood for company. Do not waste the day by yourself, because the effect of Venus would be to make you feel lonely. Okay. All personal relationships are favored by this transit unless an extremely unfavorable transit intervenes. Well, let's take a look if there is a extremely unfavorable. I mean, he's got like almost Pluto in opposition of Pluto in the 12th and 6th house. He's got Uranus square his rising. And then when we look at the malefics here, Saturn and Mars are conjunct in his 8th house. And it's in opposition of that Chiron key / Neptune. So I would say that's a little unfavorable. Tiny bit. So this day, they're going to experience no disputes of any kind unless there's unfavorable transits, only good times and agreeable companionship. So this is a favorable day to announce your love to someone. So now he's going to like talk about all the men he finds his handsome. Oh God. An excellent transit for getting married. Venus on the midheaven has the effect of making you proclaim your love to the world at large. So, what would be his love? It's not good for women. That's for damn sure. So, I would say April 19th. Isn't that the 19th Amendment too? And this doesn't feel good. Write down that date. I would write down that date. April 19th. We're going to put the question next to April 19th. Who is he professing his love to here? Where's the love here? That's one of my... We know his love isn't really love. It's abuse and violence. So,
April 20th. Let him cook. Thank you for that. This will be favorable to us with the sun in opposition over this line here. It's just because I know this cusp line so well because I have a 0 point Virgo energy. And so it's like when I figured out who I was and what I had to make sure everything is perfect before I express. So it's like moving into it's a doorway to a different realm. It's a doorway to a different area of life. And when the sun is in opposite and shining its light on this, that will be favorable to the people in seeing his expression. What is the truth here? And remember like Bill Clinton's got all that Libra energy, and then this is like the sexual part. And so we're going to get some more information of how he shined in this area of life. Okay. Moon is hanging out in the 10th house too. So reflections of his business dealings or what he does in his career. With this cusp here, this is him also playing both sides. With Uranus sitting on this cusp that is square his rising. Remember, this is like the weird planet, and it's square who he is. This is also, we call this like the gay, planet Uranus, and it's in conflict with who he is. Okay. And see how it's manifested in his natal as how he shines, where he's going, how it's unconventional, right? He's an unconventional president. He's really a businessman, right? Or a gangster or a mobster. And so that weirdness with him, you see? But it's not in flow. And it's like one is going one way and the other is going the other way. That's not very sustainable. Okay. All right, we're going to have reflections of this Gemini true node. Oh, it's going to be awful, I feel like. Where he's really taking us, what the future may look like. What does his future look like? Will we know what in his job? Okay. All right, guys, I'm about half a session. I thought I would finish the month. Moon on Mercury. More fucking Truth Social shit. I mean, and this is still moving around in that 8th house. Like, get done as much as possible. This is probably the last day I can look at, guys. All right. One more. I like a session right now. All right. I feel like I can, because not much is. Oh, whenever something touches the Pluto, we get Epstein files stuff. So 25th, even in between there. Ooh. I think we can dismantle this last part of April coming up, because we are going to see some more coming with the moon going over that 12th house here and over the rising, with these other aspects going on with it. And then once it comes and it hits this Chiron key again, and it's in opposition, like Mars will be in a different place, but I just want to finish up real quick. Yep, he does. Yep. So we're just looking at how he's moving, and it's not looking good. And we knew that. Other people didn't, unfortunately, but they're ruining it for everyone. Ooh, this is when April 29th here, he's going to be out of it. Weird, an ant is on my phone. What the fuck? Do you guys see this? It's on my phone. What? It like gives me its ass and it stays on somehow. Is it gone? Okay. Where did it come from? Okay. So April 29th. And then the 30th. Okay, so we'll come back and we'll look at the end dates. But I have to go. That was a weird. I'm gonna look that up and see what that was. A little experience in the ultimate dream. It's something to interpret. Answer heart. Oh, thank you. Okay, guys. I will see you later if I can.